The movie is The Running Man, which is written by Michael Bacall and Edgar Wright, adapted from the novel by Stephen King, and directed by Edgar Wright. The film is set in a dystopian America in the near future where The Running Man is the top-rated TV show, a deadly competition where contestants must survive for 30 days while being hunted by professional assassins in order to win up to $1 billion. Desperate for money to get his sick daughter the medical attention she needs, Ben Richards is convinced by the show's ruthless producer to enter the game as a last resort. The ratings of the show soon skyrocket as Ben's defiance, instincts, and grit turn him into an unexpected fan favorite as well as a threat to the entire system. While there was an Arnold Schwarzenegger film of the same name, also based on Stephen King's novel of the same name, this film is actually not a direct reboot.
No shit.
This is a very different film than the Arnold version, in that this one follows the book much more closely.
Take it back!
Instead of main character Ben Richards competing in some sort of expansive city-like arena against American gladiator-esque looking hunters, in this version of the film, he's actually hunted by everyone in the world with monetary prizes for confirmed sightings of Richards, and even more money for sightings that lead directly to his death, which I think is far more interesting than someone competing in just some sort of horrific games, because it's much more of a reflection of society and how we're often incentivized to be against each other rather than cooperating to take on some real societal issues. In my opinion, this movie shined brightest during the action-packed sequences, which were well shot, fun, and exciting, and when the talented cast of actors had opportunities to lean into the humor and silliness that are a signature of Edgar Wright's films. I thought Edgar Wright did a great job shooting the action scenes in a way that really immerses you in this dystopian world, and that makes you feel like you're right there with our cornered protagonist, holding your breath to avoid detection by the hunters. Not only did they look sharp, but they were also super fun, which is what put Wright on the map originally, and this movie proves he's still a pro in that regard, finding ways to inject a lot of humor into those high-octane chase scenes. Glen Powell's charisma and star power is a tremendous force in this film, and I think he's really cemented himself as a premier action star with this movie. He's really good in the film, and I think a lot of what I liked about the movie is heavily reliant on his performance, which was immensely entertaining and fun. And of course, it wouldn't be an Edgar Wright film without some stellar needle drops, including amazing artists like Iggy Pop, Tom Jones, Curtis Blow, and the Rolling Stones. Now, while I mostly enjoyed the movie, I couldn't help but feel somewhat disconnected from it, which I thought was really surprising given the very compelling and relevant themes. And I think a lot of that disconnected feeling came from rushed character development, where most of the characters of the film felt fairly one-dimensional because there just wasn't enough time dedicated to fully fleshing them out. Unfortunately, I felt this most heavily with Ben Richards, who's a guy who's painted as angry, prone to losing his temper, and even violent. But even when faced with those who were truly evil, Ben frequently not only refused to kill, but actively tried to warn them of impending danger. And I get it, they want him to be the good guy, but I think this is a character that can do some bad things and still be considered the good guy, which I always find more interesting. Personally, I would have liked to have just seen him be even a smidge more gray morally, instead of being the golden boy that he was. Outside of that, I liked most of the changes that were done from the novel to the film, but the other one that I really didn't care for was just how neat and perfect the ending was. I prefer when movies leave a little bit up to the audience as to what really happened or what the ending really means. But the ending of this one is essentially wrapped up with a bow, and it leaves very little to the imagination. And it also somewhat negates a lot of the messaging it spent so much of the third act building up to. The film tried to cover a lot in the third act thematically, and sadly, a lot of it gets lost in the shuffle, despite the impactful meaning much of it carries. I wouldn't put this up there as one of my favorites of Edgar Wright's, but I still had an awesome time watching it in the theater, and I would definitely recommend it, especially to action movie fans. Overall, I think this movie is one worth watching in theaters for the captivating and cinematic action sequences, the increasingly more relevant themes and messaging, and the strength of the high-energy performances of the cast. So go watch The Running Man. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, please like the video, and add a comment letting me know what you thought of this movie or what movie you think I should review next. I put out a movie review each week, so subscribe to stay tuned. Thanks, y'all.